Hello and welcome to a new tutorial. I am Mr. 23 and today I'm going to teach you how to create this magic book design. Because creating this design takes some time, I divided this tutorial into two parts. Today we are going to learn how to create the background, to place the book on the ground, the little girl and the book. And in the second part of our tutorial, we are going to learn how to create that magic and also how to place the dragon and the unicorn. Alright, let's begin. First, we start by using this background. First thing that I want to do is using the pen tool. Just press the letter P and then we are going to hide this area. So I'm going to select this part and also the top part with the sky. Then right click and choose make selection, hit OK and click on the mask. I'm not going to do it because I already done it and you will get this result. Then I'm going to add this photo with the lake and the mountains and also this part of the grass, and this time I'm going to select the top part using the pen tool as I just showed you. So press the letter P and select the part with the mountains. Just select the sky part because we won't keep this part of the sky. And then when you finish, now I'm going to do it really fast so it's not accurate because I already have done it, but you have to zoom in and to do it like that, like really taking care of all the lines. All right, and then just select the top part and press again Ctrl and Enter, or right click and choose make selection. It will do the same thing. Then just hold Alt and click on the mask, this little icon down here. It will deselect the sky part, and then with a soft brush, so just a normal soft brush, just paint with the black color here on the bottom part because you want to hide this part of the grass. So just paint with the black color on the bottom part of the grass and you will end up with this result. Then what I have done, I have added between those two layers, so between this one and this one, I have added another sky, and I did the same with this picture. So this picture is behind those two pictures with the backgrounds, and also here was easier because I just used a brush with the black color selected and I just paint it with black on the bottom part to hide this part that I don't really need. So after I have done those three steps, we end up with this background. Don't worry here where you can see the background, the transparent background, because we will hide this part later, or we can like use the white color now and just paint this part and it is gone. So not always everything works perfectly. You sometimes do some little mistakes, but you can always correct them later on if you use the mask. If you use the eraser tool, then it will be harder, if not impossible. All right, then if we are looking at the sky, it is like a magenta sky, and our mountains are like a bluish gray mountains. So what I have done, I have added a selective color and I have modified the cyan, the magenta, yellow and blacks to add a magenta tones to the top part of our mountains. And then because everything was set to those colors, I just added a mask, this little icon, but I hold Alt when I added the mask. So let's do this again. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, all right, and I'm going to delete the mask. All right, so first thing, when you create this selective color, everything in the picture will get that magenta tone. So just hold Alt and click on the mask. Now everything is gone because the mask is black, so everything that's with black, it's invisible. And now if we paint with the brush tool and the white color on the mountains part, we will bring back that magenta only on the parts that we use the brush with the white color. All right, so this is what I have done here. Let's delete this one. And now we have our background almost ready. But because I wanted a night scene, I have added a curves adjustment layer. And I have made everything darker. So go here on the adjustment layers and choose curves. And then just drag, let me make this one bigger, just drag the white line from the top a bit to the bottom and you will make everything darker. All right, and then I wanted to have more darkness, and I have added a brightness and contrast adjustment layer. So click here on the bottom part and choose brightness and contrast. Then I decrease the brightness. It was something like that, and I have decreased the brightness. And here on the mask, I painted to the black color in the middle of the screen. Not really in the middle, on the part that I will place the book and the little girl, because I want to have some light here. So with the black color, I just painted here and added a bit of color. So this is it with the background. Then when I have finished with the background part, I press Ctrl Alt Shift and I. So what this does is just making a layer from all the layers that you already have done. So it's like a screenshot. All right, and then I have right clicked and convert this one to a smart object. And what I have done, I have added some blur behind the scene where we have the mountains. So I went to filter, blur gallery, and chose fill blur. And here, first thing, when you use the fill blur, it will add this circle in the middle with a certain amount of blur, but we don't need that. So we are going to decrease this blur to 0, and then we will add with some points where we want the blur. So I want to have some blur here on the mountains, but this is too much, and just decrease the values to a certain amount of blur that you think it's okay. In my case, I think 5 it's okay. And then I just played a bit with this blur, added the blur in the back, and also in the sky I have added more blur, something like 7. All right, and here on the grass, in the bottom part of the grass, I have added small blur, something like 5 again, and also in the corner. All right, so this is the part with the blur. Just hit OK. Then we have our background ready. I have added some mist in the middle of the screen because I wanted to hide the parts with the mountains and the sky, because I wanted to have the focus on my subject, not on the background. So this is really easy. It's just a normal layer to create a mist or the fog. Just create a new layer. Let's call this one mist. All right, and then we have this cloudy brush, and with the brush tool selected, this cloud brush or fog brush, we are going to paint in the middle but decrease the flow to have something like 10%. So what I'm doing now is I'm pressing Alt and I'm selecting one of the colors from the sky. So let's say this color, and then I'm increasing the brush and I'm just clicking. Don't hold and draw because it will do something else. So just click and release, click and release, and do that many times, and then just change the color to something darker and repeat the process. But do not use just one color because usually the fog is more intense in the back, and in the front is more light. So here in the front I'm using a lighter color, and in the back I'm using a darker color. So just play around with that, and then you will create your mist. So this is the part with the fog and the mist, or the mist, and now we have finished the background part. So this is our background, and now let's focus on the next part of our tutorial in adding this book. All right, so first of all, when you add this book, you need to select it from the original background. So the original background is white because it's a picture that I have from pexels.com, and it's just like that as you see it with a white background. So this is really easy. Let's duplicate the layer and let's erase this mask and hide the one that we already have. And now the easiest way is to go to select color range, click on the white and click OK. And now if you press on the mask, please be sure that you are holding Alt to select only the book, because if you don't hold Alt and just click on the mask, it will select everything else but the book. Alright, so if you hold Alt and click on the mask, it will select this book. Alright, so this is how you select the book. It's really easy. Alright, let's close this one. And you place the book just like that in your design. In my case, I have placed it here down below, and then I have used a grass brush to hide the bottom area. Alright, let's do this again so you can see how I managed to blend this book into the background with the grass. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm holding Alt and drag it. So if you hold Alt and drag, you will make a lot of copies of that layer. Alright, let's delete this mask. Now let's add a mask, a new mask, and take again the brush tool and select this grass brush that I'm going to give you. Alright, so now we need the flow to be 100%, and let's decrease the size. So now if you are clicking on the white mask and paint with black, this will happen. So we'll mask this old book into our grass. So this is really easy. You just paint around. All right, so I think something like that works perfectly. And then here on the side, I'm zooming in and I'm doing something like that. I'm right clicking on the screen, and here I'm rotating the brush a bit so it can go in the inside of the book, and I'm doing something like that, but not too much. Then I'm rotating the brush again, and I'm slowly doing the same thing. All right, after you finish with the grass part, on the mask, go and select the blur tool, and now here, at least here in the back, I'm going to blur that area, but be sure that you are on the mask, not on the layer with the book. So I'm blurring that part, okay, because the grass is blurred there, and also here on the front just a little bit, but do not overreact. Alright, so it's important to use the blur over the mask when you select something, because not always the selection is that perfect. Alright, so this is the part with the book. Let's erase this one, and we managed to blend our book into the grass, into the background. Now I wanted to change a bit the colors, the tones of the book, and I have added a selective color, and I added those blue kind of shades to our image. I could have left it like that. You can leave it like that if you prefer, but I wanted to have a more bluish tones. So this is really easy. You add a selective color, and then you play with the neutrals. In my case, I have done those settings. All right. Then, because I wanted the book to be a bit darker, I have added a brightness and contrast, and I have decreased the brightness. Then, because the bottom part should be darker, I have added a levels adjustment layer. But as you can see, it's a mask with more black than white. So if you want to do that, just go to levels and decrease the brightness, something like that. All right. From here also, you can drag this slider more to the left. Okay. And then on the mask, you can press Ctrl and I, or you can press here where it says invert. And then with the brush, but the soft brush this time, and the flow around 10%, and be sure that the white color is selected. We need that dark color to be only on the bottom part. So I'm painting only on the bottom part to make only that part darker. If you think you need more darkness on that side, go again to the properties, and you can add more darkness from this slider. All right, so this is what I have done here with the levels. And then I wanted to add more dodge and burn, because I wanted to have parts of our book darker than the others. So I explain in all my tutorials how I use this method, but I'm going to do it again this time. Just go to layer, new layer, and the mode should be soft light, and be sure to check this one with 50% gray. Then, if you are taking the brush tool and the black color, be sure that the flow is around 5%, let's say. And now if you paint with that black color, it will make parts of where you are drawing even darker than the other ones. And then on the sides, we are coming back to this layer later on, because after we are going to add the little girl and the light sources, we will need those lights on our book. So for now, I'm going to hide this layer, and let's go to our little girl. So we have this little girl, and originally it was like that. She was sitting in front of a window and reading a book, and I used the pen tool, and then I selected her just like that. Use the pen tool. Be sure that you are zooming in, and be very careful to select her really well, because the pen tool is perfect for selections. Of course, there are other methods, but for me, pen tool is the best. Here, right click and make selection, and then just press on the mask. Alright, so we have the little girl on top of our book. Okay, so of course it doesn't look realistic right now, because we need some shadows underneath her. Let's go to the original picture. As you can see, the original picture has some shadows here where her legs are touching the ground or the table, whatever it is. So we need that too. And let's go back. I have used a brush set to multiply, and I have drew those shadows. Alright, let's do it again. So just create a new layer and take the brush tool and set the blending mode to multiply. In our case, we are not going to use the black color for shadows. If you click here on the black color on the swatches, you'll see on the screen this little eyedropper. Alright, and you can click wherever you want on the screen and it will select that color. In our case, we are going to select a color on the book, which is this dark, I don't know, blue color, I think, and hit OK, dark blue gray color. If you are looking on the screen, you see that our brush is round, perfectly round. So we don't need that perfect round brush. So right click, and you will see two white points here on this circle. So if you hold one of the circles and you drag, you'll see that it will turn into an oval. So we need that oval. Now let me zoom in and decrease the size of the brush. And now if you paint, you'll see that it will add that nice shadow in a shape that we need, not like a circle. Alright, so you need to have, first of all, where she is touching the book, the shadows first. Alright, something like that. Not too much. Alright, and then here in the back, you need to have the darkest part, because the light is not reaching that part of the little girl. Alright, so this is how I created the shadow, and she looks much better now. Let's delete the shadow and use this one. So what I did next is creating a hair. As you can see, when we use the pen tool, the hair looks too perfectly cut, and usually in reality it's not like that. So I have manually drawn this hair. It's not that hard as it looks. Create a new layer, and now I must say that for the hair part, usually I use my tablet, because with the mouse I don't have the same control, and I have to spend 10 times more with the mouse than with the tablet. I suggest you to buy the cheapest tablet that there is, because with the pen of the tablet you can do miracles that you cannot do with the mouse because of that pen pressure. Alright, so if you want to draw the hair, I have some hair brushes that I'm using, and first of all is this one. So let's decrease the size of the brush, something around 25 pixels, and then I'm going to use the eyedropper tool to pick a color from her hair. So hold Alt. So now if I'm painting the hair, I'm going to select this brownish color and I'm going to paint on the edges with that brush. As you can see, it does something really nice like a hair part, but of course it doesn't really look well in this moment. But don't worry, you have to use other colors also on top of this color. So first thing, when I'm doing the hair part, I'm just using one of the darkest colors of her hair, let's say this one, and I'm just drawing on the exterior of the hair. So I'm just drawing outside the hair that she already has. Then when you did that, use Alt again, select a lighter color, let's say this one, and continue to paint on the exterior. As you can see, it already makes a lot of difference if you use that lighter color. So you can do that wherever you want. So combine the colors, do not use only one color, because usually the hair has different shades, different tones of colors, and you have to change them all the time. Even the darker colors, you can come again and paint with a darker color wherever you want. So just do that many times, just change the colors and paint over and over. All right, this is how I am making the background for the hair. And then when I'm finishing, I'm just switching the brush. So when you do this part, you use this one, the bigger one, let's say the bigger one for the hair part, for the background of the hair. And then for the little details, I'm using this little one, which is doing something like that. So for this part, I'm taking a lighter color from her hair. So I'm holding Alt and pick, let's say, this color, and I'm going to paint again on the sides, and I'm making those little hair parts, as you can see. And what I want to show you is that normally, as you can see, her hair comes like that, in a not a really straight line, but something like that. But normally some parts of the hair are going crazy like that, so you have to do stuff like that, not only straight lines. So don't do just straight lines, just here and there, just do some crazy lines, something like that. Especially here on the top, usually our hair is not really straight, it comes like that in all the directions, and that makes our hair looks more natural. So this is how I did the hair part. As you can see, it looks much better. All right, so let's delete this one and use the one that I did. Then when we finished with the hair part, I added some brightness and contrast. I decreased the brightness and increased the contrast. You go here on the adjustment layers, brightness and contrast, and decrease the brightness and increase the contrast. Then I'm taking the brush tool, but this time the soft brush, and I'm increasing the size of the brush, and I want to have this part of the little girl lighter. I mean, because she will read and the magic which will come from the book, this part should be lighter. So I'm painting with the black color with the brush in the middle here, and this part I want it to have lighter than the other parts. So this is the brightness and contrast. Let's delete it. And then I use the same dodge and burn that I just showed you here on the book part with the soft light. Then I adding the highlights. So because I have this magic, that magic, it will cast some highlights on her body and her face. Let's go again to layer, new layer, and this time the mode should be linear dodge and fill it with black. Now that you have done this, go and change the color to orange color. Now with the brush selected and the flow again 5%, do not make it bigger. And I think we need some lights here on the hair part, also on the arms, of course on the book, and here in the front, but not too much because we will do that light part, that magic part later. And of course here on the legs and a bit on the hands, but most of the parts it will be on the hair. Alright, so do not overreact with this highlight for the moment, because everything will be done in the magic part. Alright, so this is what I have done here with the highlights, and then I have done the same thing after I made the orange highlights first, I have done the same thing, but this time with the white color. So let's do it again, layer, new layer, and choose the mode linear dodge and fill it with black. Again, do the same things, but this time use the white color. So with the white color, let's zoom in. I have made something like a stroke around her here because I wanted to have some lights. I'm going even further in the inside like that. So this is how I use these white highlights. So now we are going to set up a base for our lights, for our magic lights. First thing, go and select solid color from the adjustment layer. Here we are going to change this white color to something like an orange color, something like that, and hit OK. And we need this mask to be black. In our case, just press invert or Ctrl and I. Alright, now because we have done this, we are going to the modes and set this one to color dodge. And first it will be color dodge, and on top we'll make another one which will be linear dodge. So first is this one which is color dodge. Alright, now take the brush tool and be sure that the white color is selected and the flow around 5%. Now let's paint here in front of her from the book and on her face, but not too much. So just imagine where that light is coming and touching the little girl's face and body. Alright, something a bit on the legs and on the hair. Alright, and of course it looks like too much, but don't worry, just double click on the layer, and here on the layer properties on the bottom part you'll see the blend diff. Now if you are holding Alt and drag this slider to the right, you'll see that it will disperse the lights much better on her face and body, and it will look more natural. Alright, and then hit OK. As you can see, it looks really nice with that blend diff. Now, as I said, we are going to do another adjustment layer. So solid color again, and choose the same or another orange color close to our original orange color, and press Ctrl and I or press this where it says invert. And the mode should be this time linear dodge. Alright, so we are going to do the same thing, but this time we are not going to use the blend diff. So just paint with the white color with the brush selected, and it will add more lights to that part. So those are the two layers, let's delete them, and it looks something like that. So this is the first part of our tutorial, and in the next part I'm going to teach you how to create this magic that comes from the book. I'm going to teach you how to draw all those things, and then after we are doing this magic part, we are going to learn how to create some magical creatures, something like a unicorn and like a little dragon. And then after we are learning that, we are going to add some final touches, the camera raw and the high pass, glowing edges, and some highlights on top of everything, and then some sparkles. But we will learn that in the part 2 of this tutorial. So if you liked my tutorial and generally if you like my work, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram, where I post every week new designs, and of course I can help you out with any problems that you have with my tutorials. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. See you next time.